How you doing today? We're gonna go outside, take a look at some stuff, try to figure out what's a hybrid and what's not. I mean, I've already got a good idea. I can show you how I figure it out. Good breakfast, yeah. I don't know if this is a good breakfast, but it is breakfast. Check out this trick I learned. If you want to make whipped cream real fast, you don't need a whipping thing. You just take some cream, put it in here. I want about that much. Now you can flavor it. You want it to taste like citrus? I almost put the cream in the fucking drawer. That's not good. Not too much. Just a little bit. Put a little salt in there, just a touch, spruces it up. If you want to get real wild, you can flavor it with a touch of citrus juice. Oh, just a touch. No, I dropped it. Take it like this. Let's see how long it takes. You don't want to shake it too hard at the end because you break it and it'll not turn into cream. I figured this out, shaking up my drinks. One day I turned my drink into cream. It's like, holy shit, I just made whipped cream. It only took a minute. It was such a pain in the ass to beat it with a whisk in a bowl that I started doing this a while ago. But I love fresh whipped cream on my shit. Put it on everything. Fruit, waffles, crepes. You flavor it up with a little juice, just a touch of juice. Some honey, a little salt. You could use just sugar, I guess. Almost there. If you do it too hard at this point, it'll break, turn into liquid. You get your fat and your water sucks. I've done that a couple times. It'll pop like a balloon. We're almost there. Get a little gentle there. Don't break it. Uh-oh. Go outside, take a look. I've got some hybrids of the Grimmel and the Anomaly, hybrids of the Otto Anderson and the Grimmel. Those are easy to figure out, it seems like. Got some hybrids of the Grimmel and the Sabra, hybrids of the Trunciflora and the Red, and then some Anomaly hybrids out there. I couldn't tell you exactly what they are. We're getting there on this whipped cream. The texture's just not perfect yet. It's still rocking around like liquid a little bit. Hope I didn't break it. Did I break it? I don't think it's broken. It's probably good enough to use right now. You go. Knock it down in there. I don't know if I have to cut it. I can just squeeze it out. Doop boop bee doop. We're eating a product. This is a cherry crepe. They're good. They just come out the oven. And then we have us a waffle, Belgian waffle. You could almost see through it, couldn't you? You could have a waffle window on your car. Imagine that. You could see right through it. Okay. Now, I think we're just gonna put all this shit on top of each other. Pile it up. Okay. Now we're gonna cream this motherfucker. Breakfast of champion, my friend. Oh, look at it go. Get it out. Get it all out, buddy. Come on out. I'm gonna have to cut the top of this off to get my cream out. Oh. Couple more knocks it might come. That's heavy whipping cream. Yeah, it came out. A couple more knocks. I love this shit. Wow. That tastes tropical. A little salty. Maybe I put a little too much salt. Let's get a look at that and see what we're working with for breakfast here. Oh, just smear that around like that, and let's cut it down the middle for effect here, alright? That's how you fuck your day up from the beginning. Ooh. I'm getting cream on my phone. Okay, look at that there, boy. This is how it starts. This is the beginning. Okay, put that around. Go grab a chair. So we'll go outside after I eat. It doesn't take me long to eat. Thank you, Lord, for everyone being here for this food. See how these come together. Forgot. I'll say it's pretty good. It's probably not the best thing for you. Oh, cat hair. Come here, bruh. I'm almost done. This thing's good. It's good for you. The doctor told me. Oh, he dropped it. Delicious. All right, we're going outside. start my own little restaurant. Oh yeah. I should have done that before I came on TV. Got all these eggs. These ones sat out a little bit, but these are fresher. Got all them eggs up in there. That's like $1 million worth of eggs right there. Organic, free range. I guess they're not really free range. They do get out sometimes, but they spend some time in the coop too. The free range is debatable. Let's see if I can flip this around. So we moved out a bunch of the trees that were in the corner. We put them out here. Let's start off with some easy shit. Go over to these trees here. So these are ones that years ago I was working at Larry Schatzer's house, and I just planted some seeds, a ton of seeds. And I was going through, looking at them and paying real close attention to the leaves. And I said, you know, some of these don't look the same. And it has to do with the new growth on a trunk of flora. So this is one that I've known as a hybrid for years, just by looking at it. And my assumptions were right. I've had several that were hybrids. But we'll take a look at the original trunk of flora. This one's grafted from Larry's trees. And you can see, take the leaf over here. Let's go. Look at this. Look at this. You got to go take it in the sunlight. And they have this reflection, some of them. It's all about the shine, the hair, the top, the bottom. You got to look at them close. But let's take a piece of this other one, for instance, and get a good look side by side. I better sit down, get somewhere stable. Okay, there's that. And then there's that. Now you see this one, look how smooth, and the veins and the hair, really not any hair on it. This one, it's got hair. You can't really see it on the camera. I have to zoom in even more to show the hair. It's got a slight fuzz on it. It's just barely, you see that slight fuzz? This other one doesn't get that at all. The original tree, well, this is some shit that's on it, like a feather or some moss or something. And this one, the slight fuzz, you see that? It's hard to show. Anyway, look at the veins on it. See how the veins are more impressed? And the edges of the leaves have hair. I think they call that ciliate. There's all these words for it. It's just barely got this bit of hair on it that the other one doesn't have. Hair, when you don't normally have hair, there you go. You see the hair on it there, that fuzz? That's a sign. When you got fuzz where there was never fuzz before. On that mid vein, on the bottom of the mid vein, you have pubescence. See the hair? Even closer. Trying to hold it still. This one, the mother tree, doesn't have any of that. Hairless. They have a different color altogether too. So that's one way, is to go start looking at your leaves. Have some ideas in mind about hair, leaf shape, that kind of shit. But yeah, that's the new growth. You can easily tell when you look at the tree as it gets older that the color of the new growth is something to look for. This one, when it's happy and healthy, The new growth looks like a red. It's like a peachy kind of color. Peach color. On the Trunciflora, it's like a deep wine red at first. And it doesn't have any of that hair. It's just not hairy. And even the leaves of the old growth look a lot deeper, darker, smoother. This one's got more of a matte finish like the red, and a lighter leaf like the red, and more veins that are, they show veins. Just take a leaf of this, an old leaf of that, and a leaf of this. Oops. You see how much more the veins show on the one on the left? No, Trunciflora and Sabra are not the same. Guess it's hard to really tell when you look at it like that. But when the sun hits it, you see they just don't reflect the same. That's a big tell too, is when the sun doesn't shine off it the same. See that? One has just got more even reflection, and the other one is not. It's hard to tell from this aspect. Yeah, it's really hard to tell from here, but you can look close and see, look how smooth, and then look over here, look at all that pattern. Yeah, I mean, those are ones where it's very subtle. People without the trained eye wouldn't be able to tell. This is another hybrid right here of the Trunciflora, and it's just a little different than this one. It's just the leaf is a little glossier, and it's fruited before this one. This one flowered first, but this one fruited first. It took longer to flower, but it fruited first. I planted it out. It's doing okay. It's not worth grafting yet, but if it ever does something crazy and has like a really good crop, then I'll graft it. This lizard's like, fuck you and your tree. Put me on that loquat tree, bro. I swear I'll eat any fruit fly. Just one drag. All right, now look at this over here. This is another Trunciflora hybrid. But this is my favorite one because it stayed so small and it fruited so quick. That's how shit gets out there. I've got like 10 different Trunciflora red hybrids, but this one is the beast. It's the one that stayed the smallest, fruited the fastest, fruited the most. This is the one, the Schatzers. But you see the leaf, it's kind of, this really looked like a red when I first had it for many years. I was like, that's a red. Look at that. It's going off. It flowers several times a year. It makes big fruit. I'm pretty sure I hybridized this with the Anomaly too. That's what I'm looking at now because I've got one out there. It's definitely very similar where it's got some kind of blood in it that ain't right. There's just all sorts of reds. This one out here is supposed to be an Anomaly hybrid. It needs to get pulled out a little bit from here. This one's Anomaly Grimmel hybrid is what I had it labeled as. Uh-oh, broken branch. Waiting for this to flower. Nothing yet. But it doesn't look like anything too spectacular when you look at it. Yeah, well, it's hard to tell. It really doesn't look like much. And it looks a lot different than a sibling. But I have another one that's even smaller. This one grows so big and tall and upright. Another thing to look for is the bark. If the bark doesn't look quite like anything you've seen in the growth habit, then you're looking at something new as well. Now, when I say nothing like you've quite seen, I'm talking about between the two parent trees that you're trying to hybridize. You're gonna go out, you're gonna find one, there's different ways to get hybrids. One way is to have two trees that are flowering and try to cross them. The other way is to plant a bunch of seeds from what you know they are, label them from a collection that had a bunch of trees, and then sort through those. Do you know what I'm saying? That's another way I got a bunch of hybrids. We have a bunch of seeds I got one year from someone who had all these varieties fruiting. And I got all the seeds at the same time. So you know they were all flowering and fruiting at the same time. I got all the seeds at the same time. And so we have some that this one could be like ESALQ and Grimmel maybe. It's hard to tell. But the bark and the growth habit's kind of nice. It's just a little different than the mother tree, but it's hard to tell. We can look at this a little closer. This one may not be a hybrid. Sometimes you got to be able to rule out just seedling variation because a lot of these are highly variable from seed. See, this is the bark on the mother tree of the ESALQ. And the bark could look different just based on how you're keeping the tree. Like if it's not happy, it'll look like shit. This is another ESALQ possible hybrid, I think. Yeah. This one had a nice, like real glossy leaf that was smaller. Why I kept it, because of the shine on it. The ESALQ doesn't have that finish. You see that gloss? We'll go look at the mother tree, but this is more reminding me of a Grimmel there with that gloss and the leaf shape. And the bark, though, is hard to tell. The bark just looks a lot like ESALQ, but has a little bit of, little something there where you want to pretend like, you know. This one is another one that I think I kept for looking like Grimmel. Another thing to look for is like a thorn at the end of the leaf. If you're trying to get Grimmel, Grimmel likes to make like a thorn tip. And this kind of has the thorn tip going on, like it feels sharp. And these new leaves look kind of grimmely a little bit. This one could be a hybrid. I like the way the bark looks a lot. The bark looks really cool, the way it's peeling and patching like that. This one's, I just like it a lot. But I love the multicolor and the way the bark is peeling. That's good. See, I'm not seeing quite the same on this tree. It's not quite the same. You see how the peeling, the colors? Look for the peeling pattern and the colors. It's just not quite the same. We'll see. Then we have, what else we got here? There's one that I think this is a hybrid between the Grimmel and the Sabra, I believe. I've had it for years. And it's grafted, this one, from the mother tree. I tried to get it to fruit faster by grafting it. But you can see the bark is somewhere in between Sabra and Grimmel. You see that? Where it really looks a lot like Grimmel, that color of the bark. But this has always been a real interesting, strong tree with a funny leaf that just, the leaf does what it wants. And it has a little bit of a thorn, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not. They all kind of get a thorn. Okay, this is the original Otto Anderson tree, which I've got hybrids I'm trying to figure out. You know, it's nice because we have a big mature tree here with all the flowers on it. And kind of look at the way it peels and the color of it. Always keep in mind, if your tree's getting hit by some kind of water, it can discolor the bark. Like if you have minerals in your water, it can make the bark look totally different. So you got to think about the environment as to why it may look a certain way. But anyway, this is the Otto Anderson, which is one of the best tasting varieties, honestly. It's got this unique flavor. I really like the taste of it a lot. Very good tasting fruit. Strong tree. This one here is a anomaly Grimmel hybrid, is what we hoping it is. And it's grafted, actually. This little guy's grafted from the mother tree. I didn't have the nerve to plant out the mother tree, but I planted out the first one that I grafted. We're trying to get that to fruit right away so we can prove that is a hybrid. Here's an old hybrid right here. That is the red Jabuticaba back crossed to the white. That's what they say it is. But once you start to look at this tree, as compared to the red Jabuticaba, it's got a darker leaf. The leaves are more impressed. Like there's more veins kind of pushing in and out. Bigger leaf, which would make sense if it was a hybrid of the white Jabuticaba. Anomaly, mother tree. Anomaly is pretty easy to figure out when you got the mother tree because, or not the mother tree, I'm sorry. It's not the mother tree, this is a grafted one. But it's easy to tell when you have the parent plant. The leaf is just really soft and the new growth has got a certain look to it. This one's really flowering up. I'm gonna have to cover this thing. We're gonna have to cover that. So we got a leaf in hand. This is the scarlet Here's a red Jabuticaba over here for comparison. See if I can find a leaf. Maybe a bigger one right here. What's up, chat bot? See if I can show this. Now, so the red is a cross between the white and cauliflora, and who knows what variety cauliflora. That's on the left, that's the red. Scarlet is another cross between the red and the white, back crossed. And so you see it's got a darker leaf, bigger leaf. The veins seem a little more like impressed, you know, like more rigid all over. See that? That would go along with more of the white genetics, and this would be more of the cauliflora. And we'll go and find a white Jabuticaba for comparison over here. Look at this tree, got hit pretty bad. I covered it up, but I didn't do a good job of covering it. This is a nice little fruiting lemon drop. It'll come back. But you see, I did a good job of covering this one, and it didn't get hit at all. I wrapped that thing like 6 times. White Jabuticaba. Bigger leaf, more bullate veins or puffy, and then the red. You see how it's somewheres in between, I guess. This one really should go the other way. So there's another way too that you can figure out some shit. Well, we're not gonna run this video much longer, maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes at the most. I don't know, it depends on how I'm feeling, but let's go take a look. That's what you gotta basically do, North Florida Bear. You gotta taste the leaves. And without messing up your mouth, because they're probably not the best thing to chew on, you gotta sniff them with your nose, because that's the closest thing to eating them. Smell them, snuff them, snort them. And I was doing that today. I was out there snorting leaves, man. And I figured some shit out. But let's go ahead. I wouldn't smoke them. Gotta have a volatile, something in them that's not good. So let's look at this over here. This, what I'm thinking is a Grimmel and Otto Anderson hybrid. It could be. First thing that gets me is the new growth. Looks different. New growth. Looking a lot different. The way the leaves are arranged, the way they're positioned, they're coming off like Grimmel. It doesn't remind me of the Otto Anderson, but that's nothing to be said right there. That's just preliminary shit. Like, it could just be a seedling that looks different because the Otto Anderson's highly variable. But really do like the long, slender shape of the leaf, which the Otto can do that too. But I've never seen it so pronounced as on this one. Really reminded me of the Grimmel, how they come into points like that. We did get it to flower in about 5-6 years, I guess. It's taken 5 years, 6 years. And they're starting to flower. Now, it looks like the flowers were poking off a little more than a normal Otto Anderson, but that could have just been me. I don't know if they're gonna set. You could try to test them and see if they fall off. It's dangerous. Just barely touch them like that. I don't know if they're gonna set or not. It looks like maybe something did. Put my hand behind there. We got a chance. I see something there. See something there. It looks like it could set. That feels good. Anyway, so we're gonna look at this. Let's take a look at the bark. So we're comparing this, looking for signs of Grimmel. You have to take some mental notes, but I see where the water's been hitting it and it's got a different color. It looks like maybe, let's go to the other side. For all purposes, it really does look a lot like the mother tree, but I'm seeing some peeling going on there, and like the growth habit, you know, it makes me hopeful looking at the bark. I'd have to have them side by side because they're so similar. It really does look a lot like the mother tree, the Otto Anderson. So if you look over here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna pluck off some leaves, and we're gonna get some good healthy leaves. 1 and 2. And now we gotta go compare to the mother tree. And let's see if there's any other hybrids in here we can look at. There's one over here that I've been looking at that looks like a hybrid between the Anomaly and Schatzers maybe, because we've got these really big ass leaves. It's either the white Jabuticaba or the Schatzers. I don't know what else it could be, but these are a couple that we've been watching. This one in particular needs to go into a bigger pot. I'll probably do that today and move it. But this one right here is one I've really got my eye on. I love the leaves on it. It really looks just like a white Jabuticaba seedling, but it's definitely not. It was an Anomaly seedling that I planted after trying to hybridize. And what you want to look for on these is the gnarling on the bark at these crotches where it gets gnarled up. That's where it flowers at, and this one could start any day. And I'm waiting for it to start flowering. Let's get a closer look in there, see if we can see any action. Not yet. It's gonna take a while. But it's got the gnarling like it should. Like when you have an Anomaly, it needs to have those bumps at the crotches and the pale spots with the bumps at the crotches. And that makes sense. That means it's not a white. This one too is not showing it as much. We gotta get a better look at that one when it gets bigger. So we got some leaves in our hand. Let's go walk over here. Oh, dropped you. Hope I didn't break my phone. Are we back? We're back. Okay, I gotta zoom out. We pulled off a lot of the old plastic off the roof. It was a real pain in the ass. Real chore, guys. I gotta throw that shit away. And then I put up some shade cloth with Seth came over. Couldn't film that, but we put up some old shade cloth to protect these plants out here. But I think they like it a lot. This right here is a seedling of the Coronata, and I just always liked the leaves on it, how big and interesting they looked, but it could just be seedling variation, or it could be a hybrid, I don't know. Oh look, there's some, looks like it might set some fruit, this Pickering mango. A lot of possible fruits set on that. Okay. Anomalies are going bonkers. They're really going nuts. And you can see you gotta look for that gnarling on the Anomaly hybrids. Has that same pattern of that knottiness at the crotches. You see how it gets all gnarled up at the edges and then it goes smooth? And right like that right there, that patch of gnarliness. Anyway, these are Anomalies. Ooh, they're flowering all the way up. Gotta love that. This is a white Jabuticaba that came out looking weird, and it makes white fruit, and it always dies back. Tried to graft one, and it hasn't grown too well. But I do have that tree there. Hopefully one day it starts doing something. Really interesting looking ESAOQ seedling. Look at the leaf on that. A really odd tree. And then as far as looking at bark, this one has a peculiar habit of throwing out these fissures, and it's not a disease, it's just what it does. It's like no damage to the tree. It just throws out these fissures. I don't know, maybe it'll get over, maybe it is a disease. It's been doing that the whole time. I can't find any bugs on it. All right, let's go test these leaves out, and I'll leave you with my last bit of advice. Look at this tree over here. It looks like the Grimmel. It's not the Grimmel. This is that Carlos tree. You see how the new growth isn't quite... Like, the Grimmel's a deep wine red color. This is a pale color when it comes out. Like a neon green color. But the leaf and the bark looks a lot like Grimmel. Oh shit, it's flowering. Fuck yes. I've waited so long for these to flower, man. Look how small the tree is. Oh yeah, wow. Yes, it's flowering. First flowers on the Carlos. And of course, it's the one I left in the pot. The ones in the ground are not flowering. I definitely am a proponent of leaving things in a pot for as long as you can if you want to get them to flower quick. As soon as you plant them, it fucks things up. But ooh, we might be able to taste the fruit on this year. And try to make some hybrids, actually, is what I need to do for that. So that's exciting. The Carlos is finally flowering. Very strong tree. I've got them planted out. This tree was covered with ice and had a lot of blooms, but they got burnt off and they're coming back. Scarlet. Carlos is flowering. I wonder if the ones in the ground are flowering. I got 2 out in the ground. This tree right here, I was hoping, is a hybrid of the ESAOQ and the Coronata Hestinga. I don't know if it is, but it was the new growth that really had me hoping it was, because it just had a little bit different look to it. The older leaves had a shine to them, and just, it really struck me as Coronata Hestinga. Oh, it's the bark too. That's the dead giveaway. Okay, this bark does not look at all like ESALQ, okay? That doesn't look like ESALQ at all. This bark is not consistent with ESALQ. It looks more like Sabra or Coronata Hestinga. So this one right here is one that I'm really keeping my eye on, because the cross between those two would be fabulous. It would be phenomenal. So I'm pretty sure we have a chance on that, just based on the bark alone. You'd have to know what to look for, but it's got this gray color and the way that it peels, and then the matte color to the leaf. Or not the matte, but it's got a certain brilliance the leaf does that the other doesn't have, where it's just got a shine to it. We'll see. And then this could be the Grimmel maybe, and the Grimmel and ESALQ is what we're hoping for on this guy. It's always been a very odd tree, a really stiff leaf, really stiff, deep green, smooth, funky looking tree. I've got a couple of these out there. And then the bark is very Grimmel like. If any of these fruit or flower, we'll let you know. But yeah, we're making our way back over to the house. We're gonna test out these leaves for the Otto Anderson versus the Grimmel. And we'll talk about the different phases of the leaf smell, where you gotta separate. There's 3 phases really of smelling your leaves. Remove the branches of your Sabra always. Do not let any Sabra branches ever grow on any rootstock. So now we're gonna end it up over here by comparing some hybrids. And we ought to look at this Carlos in the ground over here and see if it's got flowers, because the one in the pot's got flowers, by golly. Now, are you hiding flowers on me, boy? Your brother did it. You ain't smart enough to figure it out. Damn it. Yeah, this one's just not as happy as the one in the pot. But it has also been through the cold. That one got iced over, and that icing over, I think, does protect it if you don't stress them out. There's no flowers on this one, just the one in the pot. Well, that's cool as shit, man. I've only got 3 of those, and they're rare. I don't even know what it is. All right, we're making our way. Just calm down. So this is the mother tree from my house, the Otto Anderson. Let's take some leaves here. You want nice healthy leaves to compare. Here's a nice one here. Boom, we got it. All right. We're gonna lay our shit down over here. These have been in my hand getting beat up. Probably not a good idea to carry them around so much, but let me grab one more thing. We need a grimmel, a good grimmel leaf. I think I got some healthy grimmel leaves out here in the yard. And I don't know if what I'm about to show you holds true all the time, but I did notice some stuff. Ooh, this is a nice grimmel here. Ooh, wow. Is that even a grimmel? There's one over there. They're everywhere. We got grimmels out here, boys and girls. The price of them is gonna go up. I did raise the price because my trees look like, you know, they're getting hurt. So we had to raise the price on those. Let's grab get a nice leaf on these here. One there. This guy's drying out. Put him in there for a little while. Almost like I need another leaf from the grimmel. I'm gonna grab one off of this tree. They got a little rust on them from the elements. I'm looking for one that's healthy. A good looking leaf, bro. Here we go. We got a couple to compare from. Now let's take it over here and let's get everything situated. Okay. First, you start with the grimmel. Now, what I noticed about the grimmel is look at how the light reflects off it when it turns whitish. See if I can do it again. See that glare it makes? See if I can. See how that glare, I can do that with that glare? Look at that. Look how evenly, how flat that thing is, where it's like, boom. Reflection on that one side of the leaf like that. Now let's hold up. This is Otto Anderson. Now I can't do the same thing with that because the leaf is not designed the same way. It's reflective, like it bows out. Doesn't have that same shape, man. But that could be due to environmental conditions too, where a tree will flatten out if it's got a lot of water and then fold up like a canoe if it's dry. But this is the grimmel right here and the Otto Anderson. And yeah, you look real close on the Otto Anderson, I see like a fine fuzz on it. You see that fine fuzz on the top of it? I don't know if in the light it'll show it better, but I don't know if I've seen a fine fuzz on it. Am I tripping? From that way, it's like you could almost see it. A little bit of hair. I could almost rub it off. The sun is so bright I can't see shit. Anyway. Look how flat that grimmel is with the light, the distribution of the glare. Look at how the other one, it's just like in a certain spot. It's just interesting. I mean, the grimmel really has like a really flat panel on either side of that leaf, and the other just bows out. So anyhow, that's the Grimmel and the Otto Anderson. But now we're going to take the hybrid of the two, which I believe is in the middle. And we can get more of that panel of light on the side like that. Kind of looks like it's got the similar shape to the Grimmel. The veination is not as impressed, and there is no real fuzz on it, no peach fuzz. Always look at the bottom of your leaves too. Oh. Well, sunlight does help, but we're in probably too much sunlight. There's little dots. You see those dots? Little black dots? Punctate, I think they call that, maybe. I don't know. They're not black. They're like dark green dots in between. Am I tripping? You see dots? Kind of somewhere in between having dots. There's the other one. Better go into some shade. It's really hot out. Hold on 1 second. Let's see if I can go inside. Rex! Good boy. How are you doing? It's hot out there. Now we'll take a look inside and see if we can make any sense of this stuff. Probably should get out like a magnifying glass or some shit. Okay. The lighting in here is a lot better. These leaves are already got messed up for me holding them in my hand. Grimmel, Otto Anderson. A little more light. Let's zoom in. See what we can tell here. Otto Anderson possible hybrid. Grimmel. And then Otto Anderson. Look at the veination, more prominent. And then that one is flat and smoother, much smoother. It casts, like I said, it casts a different reflection. Kind of hard to tell inside, but really the veination is just a little more prominent on that one and smooth on that one. Veins just don't stick out as much. Oh, you're always supposed to look at the midrib too for hair on the top, pubescence on the top. Can't tell in this lighting. They both look about the same. But then this is the one that we're hoping is the hybrid. Very smooth. So the next step here is to do this. You take the leaf. And then make sure your hands don't smell like nothing. They smell good. You got two separate hands, two separate smells. You start with the Grimmel in one hand, the Otto Anderson in the other. First thing you do is you crumble it around and feel for how it crumbles and get a smell as soon as you crush it. It smells like, you gotta take notes, you know. Earthy, medicinal, and it's crumbling up like chunks flying everywhere. It's breaking like it's plastic or something. It's very brittle. The leaf is very brittle. Now it's getting a little sweeter, the smell. Almost, I don't want to say apple, but it's getting sweeter. Almost apple. The medicinal and earthy component is going away. Still there though, medicinal. Kind of like a medicinal apple at the end. Not quite full apple. I've got stuff that gets a full apple sweet smell. This is like a partial apple smell. Very messy leaf to crumble, very dry. So the thing I'm left with after totally crumbling and giving it about 30 seconds is like a medicinal mild apple smell. So remember that. You got to take notes. You got to remember how it starts off. The beginning of the smell was earthy, medicinal. That's like the first crush. And you got to remember how the leaf crushes, how it chews, the texture of it. Very brittle, breaks apart, chews up and falls apart. It's not stringy, it doesn't have a lot of fiber, just breaks apart. And you got to remember how the finish is. What does it smell like after you've been crushing it for a while? Does it stay smelling medicinal, or does it fade off into a sweet smelling, or apples? You got to smell for apples and sweet at the end. So this right here, excuse me, is the Otto Anderson. We're gonna crush it because I'm not washing my hands, cleansing my palate. I gotta crush it with the other hand so I don't mix smells. So use the other hand. This one is chewing up different. A little different. It smells grassy. Vicks Vapor Rub. Vicks. Pretty dry. Stringy. It's holding together in my hand a lot better when I chew it. It's not falling everywhere. I'm able to keep it in a pile. It chews different. Now we're getting past the Vicks Vapor Rub to where now it's just earthy, grassy. So we went from Vicks Vapor Rub to earthy, grassy. Now it's finishing up a little sweeter. Let's see what it finishes like. It definitely crumbles different. Crumbles totally different. Absolute different. I'm able to make this ball. The other one you couldn't do that. It would just all turn into powder. This makes like a fiber ball. Now it's getting sweeter. Much sweeter. No, I don't get much of the medicinal now. It's just like a sweet, grassy smell. Dare I say apple? I'll check in a second. No, I don't get apples out of it, but I do get a sweet, grassy smell. And they just chew up totally different. Where this one, I was able to get a nice fiber ball, and the other one just crumbled. So the chew is different on those, I would say. Now we gotta wash my hands and go to the last one. You gotta remember how both of them smelled, and now compare your notes to the final product of the hybrid and see if your hybrid has any different components in it as far as the way it smells and the way it chews and all that. Let's see. My hands are pretty much clean. We'll go ahead and take the suspect hybrid leaf and we'll smell it. This feels totally different in the hand when you chew it. You know, it's holding together real nice. It's not falling apart like the other. Initial smell. It doesn't have the other smells that the other one did. I didn't get no Vicks, no medicine. It's like straight to apples. It's like earthy, it's sweet apple, or like not apple, but sweet. It's a much sweeter smell. It's not having the same, I'm not getting the same out of this as I do the others. and it's finishing off sweeter. I'm gonna have to crush another one and be in there quicker with the smell test. The end on the end is the sweetest, and it chews totally different than both of them. Oh, the end is a sweet smell at the end. Very sweet smell. Sweet. Crumbles different. Nice little ball there. Let's get the final smell on these. Earthy, grassy. Little apple, earthy, grassy. Grassy, sweet. Anyhow, that's how I do that. And then you keep crushing them and smelling them, crushing them and smelling them. It's another one here. How does that start off? A little bit of I don't know what the beginning on that is. It's almost like marijuana. Like a sweet smelling bag of dope. Just for a second. I mean, I can't even tell you. The start off is a little different on this though. And then it ends up in something sweeter. And it just the way it chews up. Yeah, it's like a crushed cockroach there for a second. You know when you crush a cockroach, it smells like apples? Yeah, it got a little apple to it. I think we got something there, boys. All right, last one. We're gonna do a Grimmel. We're gonna do a Grimmel real quick. Do it in this hand. Kind of like a nasty smell with the Grimmel at first. I don't even know what to liken that to. It's almost like a viburnum or something. It's like nasty. Yeah, it smells like a what do you call those things? A viburnum. That's what it reminds me of, Grimmel. It's almost got a little bit of that viburnum, like just something nasty you don't want to smell when you crush it. And it's not like Vicks Vapor Rub as much to me. I'm literally blowing out like green stuff. That's not boogers, it's plant matter. Wow. But yeah, you're like blowing out like green dust from smelling it too much. I'm not sure what the long-term health effects are from snuffing that, but I've been doing that for a while now. Anyway, maybe that's not good for you to do, guys. I wouldn't recommend doing it quite like I do. There's got to be a safer way than actually snorting it. But in order to get the smell, you keep smelling and crushing, and before you know it, you're getting it up your nose. But anyway, I feel fine. No different. Excuse me. Clear my throat. That's it. That's what I can do. But remember, let's go through everything again. First, you're gonna either have been trying to cross two and you have two in mind that you can compare. Okay, that's one way of getting a hybrid. The other is getting seeds from a known person that had these different ones around that you know about that you can compare and make educated guesses, saying, oh, you know, you talk to the collector. You had Grimmel and Red at the same time fruiting, Grimmel and Sabra same time fruiting. Oh, I bought these Grimmel seeds from you, and when one came up looking like Trunciflora. Well, you probably have a Sabra Grimmel hybrid. Okay, that's what I've learned over the years. It's gonna be hard for you to tell the difference between a Trunciflora Sabra hybrid and a Grimmel Sabra hybrid. That's really hard to tell the difference. It just, they look very similar, where we got a bunch of seeds that came up from Sabra Grimmel that looked just like Trunciflora, mother tree. there was no Trunciflora mother tree around. So these things will throw you for a curveball. And the Trunciflora sabera looks like Coronata. It'll throw you off in that respect. So that's another thing. Anyhow, so you can go through your seedlings, looking around, making educated guesses based on what you had fruiting at the time. Then from there, you're going to have to wait for them to peel. Look at the bark, the pattern of the bark, the color of the bark. And remember to rule out any environmental conditions that are causing the bark to look different, whether it's the tree's not being happy, it's got moss on it, it's not peeling. You know, if it's too hot, too wet, it can make the bark look different. If you're watering and the water has minerals in it, can stain the bark and make it have cool, like dark purple looking black. And even cold weather can make the bark take on different colors. And environmental conditions can make the bark look different. So you got to rule that out. But you're going to keep in mind how the tree's peeling, color patterns, branching habit, leaf arrangement, shine on the leaf, the glare. And then we go through the whole test of, you know, the new growth. New growth is important. The color changes in new growth. Does the new growth start off wine red? Does it start off neon green? Looking for hair, looking for veins. Are they impressed? Then the final step, take it inside, crush them, smell them. You can really rule out differences between varieties based on the chemicals in the leaves, the compounds in the leaves. And I'm like 100% certain, whatever that tree is, the Otto Anderson Grimmel possible hybrid is something different. It doesn't taste the same in my nose as either of the trees that I started with. That's how I rule them out. I've done it before with like 7 trees that I was like, I think this is a hybrid. And I kept watching and watching. And then after 7 years, I was like, I was fucking right. I knew it all this time. And I had that happen over and over and over again, to where now I've kind of got the system down to where I can really gain confidence. And then I can't sell anything till I taste the fruit and confirm. And even some of the fruits taste very similar to the mother tree, but the seed size is different, seed shape is different, the way the pulp texture is different, fruiting habits different, the way the skin taste is different, skin thickness, tannins. Is that starting to fucking make sense? But I got some Grimmel hybrids out there. You eat them and you're like, wait a second, like the skin when you chew it tastes nowhere near as palatable as the red. You know it's got the Grimmel in it because the Grimmel's got that shit skin you can't fucking eat. Anyway, that's about all I know without writing a book. Yeah, the anomaly was a seedling I got by chance. It came from Gene Joyner's house. The guy was there on a collecting trip, and he knew me as the Jabuticaba guy. I gave a speech to the fruit club in Melbourne, and the guy's name is Brian Wright. And he said, "Oh, we got these cool seeds. This one tree. Do you know what kind it is?" He contacted me to figure out what kind it was and sent me some pictures. I was like, I don't know what it is. It looks like Fatrantha. Well, he sent me some seeds, and 3 of them came up, and I labeled them with a pink polka dot ribbon. And they grew really slow. I'm pulling hairs out of my frickin' pants. It's the worst thing ever about having long hair, is you get these hairs like in your crotch and your back, and I'm just pulling hairs out, and it's the most uncomfortable feeling. I'm about ready to cut my hair, but I got hairs I'm like pulling out from my ass crack that it's like, I fucking hate that. I don't even know what I'm talking about right now. I really can't stand finding hairs on my body like that. It's become a problem. I'm gonna have to cut my hair. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. Okay, guys? Sasquatch. David Allen Grow. Is that gonna be my new name? I'm gonna fucking cut a mud flap, grow my beard out. I'm David Allen Grow. No, I don't think that'll handle too well with the cancel culture. I don't even like David Allen Grow. I just have that fucking Wookiee hair that you're talking about. Yeah, he sent me a seedling, Gene Joyner, from Gene Joyner's house, and I grew the seeds out. They grew really slow. I had 3 of them. 1 flowered in 3 years like crazy. The other 1 died. I gave 1 to John Travis Morton, And I don't even know if his never flowered. Like after 10 years, it still hadn't flowered. So, the anomaly is a chance seedling. It's a freak. From a special tree, though. I don't know what kind of tree it was, but he sent me a picture of the tree, and I wish I had the picture still. All I can remember is the tree was about that thick around. The mother tree was about that, maybe that wide around. And it was like, you know, bigger than 20 feet tall. Who knows, right? 20 feet tall, maybe. And the bark texture was like the bark looked fucking crazy, just covered with bumps, like the most gnarled I'd ever seen a tree look. And then it had one fruit on it. He took a picture of the fruit, and I was like, he asked me what kind it was. I was like, it looks like a Phitrantha, but it's not a Phitrantha. It's definitely not a Phitrantha. My guess is it's probably whatever they're. It almost seems like a component of the red Jabuticaba or something. Like, it's similar to the red, but it's not the red. It's whatever, it's related closely to the red, but it's not the red. Maybe it's what gives the red its precocity, but that wouldn't make any sense at all. It's a chance seedling of some kind of variety. I don't fucking know. The Sanford's just a seedling. I got some seeds one year from, I ordered seeds from Fruit Lover's Nursery, and I suppose he got them from Brazil and sent them to me, and I got Plinia Ariana. Well, I planted like 20 seeds, and one of them came up looking different. And I was like, oh, this is a new variety of Ariana maybe, and I just was like, oh, this is going to be really cool. Well, I grew it, and I grew it, and I grew it, and it finally fruited, and I was like, this is a fucking Phitrantha. And so it's a Phitrantha seedling is all I can surmise. It tastes like Phitrantha, looks like Phitrantha, but the leaf and the growth habit is totally different than all the other Phitranthas I have. So it's a seedling that came up here. It's really strong. It's a nice seedling tree. But there's a million varieties of Phitrantha. It just happens to be the one that I fruited here and that I'm growing. And that's why it's got the name. But I bet you there's a trillion other trees like it everywhere in Brazil that people are probably growing in their backyard, and it's just labeled as costada, and it's just the common variety of costada, right? I mean, that's probably what it is. But I got it by chance, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And it is a variety that's not being sold here. See, it's different if you're in Brazil, if you're in Florida, the way that things get named and the way they get introduced. It's just totally different. But if no one has it in your whole country, and that's the one tree that's fruiting, even if it's like a common Phitrantha, they're going to name that seedling maybe something different in your country because it's the first they've seen of it. And like, it's new there, and it's the only one they've got. So that can happen sometimes. Which may be the case with the Sanford. But it's a really nice tree. You can't take anything away from it. It's a seedling. It's really strong. The growth habit is much different than the others I have. The bark, the leaf is way different than the others I have. It's just a variety. It's just, I wouldn't know what variety to call it, but that's it, man. So I used to worry more about trying to make a bunch of hybrids every year, but I've got so many that I need to sort through that I can only do a handful each year. And this year I'm just going to try to do like 4 or 5 hybrids and not go too crazy, because you really get overwhelmed if you don't have a team. And I've got a lot of stuff to sort through already that takes years to flower. And so, hey, I'm out here just collecting dividends, buddy. I invested in this thing a long time ago, and I'm just here to collect some dividends at this point, okay? Dividends. You gotta learn how to spell it. Divide ends. And just do. Seeds. Scions. Seedlings. Alright? It's really about making a new variety that's good, more than making money. But that comes as a result for your hard work trying to find something new that's different, that's worth growing. But I mean, we don't need the money. We just need a snack, man. But I do need to get paid sometime. It was slow, pretty slow. It was like business was just rocking and rolling, no pause for 2 years, from like 2020 to the end of 2021, and then maybe even into 2022 a little bit. But I believe 2022 is when things no, about July of 2021 is when things slowed down, and then 2022 was a slow year, and 2023 is picking up a little bit. I appreciate that. You didn't have to do that. I appreciate it. But yeah, 2023 is picking up. Part of it is due to me having to take a break and not wanting to burn myself out. You've got to go through slow periods. But then you've got to let stock grow and reach size. Like, I'm not going to just cash out and sell trees that I could get $50 for and sell them right now for $15. I'll just wait 2 years. And so really a lot of that, what happened was cyclical, also combined with having such a boom year and a half, 2 years, had to slow down. But it's not, I've never been living paycheck to paycheck. I've always been comfortable and I live a meager lifestyle. I don't do much. I don't travel. I don't have a fancy car. I don't have kids, which it'd be nice to have kids and a wife, but I hadn't figured that out. And I skateboard, which is cheap. I don't eat fancy meals. Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, appreciate you. We see your name on those orders, I have to send you something extra. But it's just the life I choose. I don't like to travel. I don't think I like to travel. I don't want to go anywhere. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate that a lot. I wish I could see who did that there. I see, I'm not asking for a handout. You make me feel bad. Henry, appreciate you. North Florida Bear, appreciate you. I need to send you a super chat back. But I think I'm like a certain person that if I didn't skate, I would just be a hermit. There's someone at the door. You got Plinia for sale? It's Rex itching his ass. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, my heel's bruised right now pretty bad, and I can't skate for maybe it feels like I can't skate for a month maybe. I can barely walk. And I went to go try to skate just easy yesterday, and I couldn't even do it. So I'm going to have to work really hard. There's a heel bruise for a reason. A heel bruise is not a bad injury. It just sucks. It's like having a rock in your shoe. It's so painful, but it's just a heel bruise. So it means I have to take a break from skating for 2 weeks, which I hate to do, but I'm going to have to work hard in the garden out here. We're going to do some grafting, get some work done. Seth and Andrea came. We knocked out some shit. We did the shade and this and that. I got a lot of stuff to do so I don't stay behind. But we're doing it this year, guys. We're doing it. And I want to say thanks again to everybody. Thank you very much. We're going to make some more videos that are produced. I should have done a produced video on this subject, but I didn't take the time. Yeah, spring's already here. It's already here over here, I think. It's already ready already. And then looking at those grimmels, it looks like some will survive maybe, but with massive dieback. I'm going to send off the wood panels to my friend to make a skateboard, Bill. We're going to get some tech decks made out of that grimmel and sell them on eBay. Tech decks. Pipes, tobacco pipes, tech decks, pencils, whatever we can do. Back scratchers. Everything. They're like, hell yeah! What else can you make out of those? Clubs. Alright guys, thanks for watching. We're gonna slither out for now. I tried to tell you what I know. It wasn't the best video, but I tried to talk about it, but I'm all over the place today. It wasn't organized, but we did it. We jumped all over the place. All over the motherfucking place like super motherfucking Merceria Mario. You're our kind of evil. Thanks for that. Thanks guys. Stay up. I don't even know who got me this shirt either. Is this one of my ex-girlfriend's shirts? What the fuck is this I'm wearing? Did my mom buy this for me? It's comfortable. I don't know where it came from, but where the fuck did I get this? I would have never in a million fucking years buy this shit. So it must be an ex-girlfriend or my mom got it for me. But I have no fucking clue what I'm wearing right now. What is going on? What does that even say? What the hell is this? And the fuck? Anyway, yeah, get a screenshot of that for me. What am I fucking wearing? It does have a pocket though. And it feels nice. Where the fuck did I get this? Alright guys. See you later.